Hey guys, today we're going to learn some vocabulary with the hosts of one of my favorite podcast shows. It's called The Rest is History. And today they're discussing the French Revolution. I hope you enjoy this lesson.
A series on what is probably, Dominic, one of the great seismic events.
The first word of our lesson is seismic. It's a perfect adjective to talk about something that changes everything, like an earthquake. So sometimes we use this word literary to talk about earthquakes, but you can also use this word to talk about an event that is highly consequential. It is significant, it is very important, and transforms and changes everything. Let's pronounce it together. Seismic. Seismic.
Not just in European, but in global history.
It's certainly one of the two or three greatest stories in world history. I mean, the roller coaster of bloodshed, violence, utopianism.
The next word of the lesson is utopianism. Utopia is a perfect society. A society, for instance, where there is no crime. This is a utopia. And utopianism is idealism, when people believe that it's possible to have that society. So the French Revolution was like a roller coaster of many different things. Bloodshed, violence, and also utopianism, looking for something idealistic.
Insurrection, excitement, you name it.
Insurrection is the act of violently rioting against an authority. Insurrection. When people rise up to, for instance, overthrow someone who is in power. Insurrection. Let's go back and hear these words again.
One of the two or three greatest stories in world history. I mean, the roller coaster of bloodshed, violence, utopianism, insurrection, excitement, you name it. So this is the kickoff for our first series, which will take us through the first couple of years of the revolution.
Yeah, so we can look at some of the causes, some of the background to the revolution, and then we'll take through the storming of the Bastille.
They're going to talk about the storming of the Bastille. The Bastille is that famous prison in France, which was attacked. When a place is stormed, usually a large group of people, a mob, attack it. But you can also use this word to talk about entering a place forcefully. For instance, she stormed into the room, or she stormed out of the room. So you can use this verb to talk about forcefully entering or leaving a place. But in this case, they're talking about what most people take to be the very beginning of the French Revolution, the storming of the Bastille.
And go up to the point where the king, Louis XVI, and his queen, Marie Antoinette, who we've just been hearing about, trying to get out of France.
So the king and the queen try to flee. They try to get out of France.
And spoiler alert, they fail. And that is the cliffhanger on which we will leave it.
Yeah.
Because, of course, everybody knows what will then happen to the king and queen.
Yes.
And I think Marie Antoinette is a kind of wonderful focus for looking at some of the causes, because she's very, very celebrated. I mean, one of the instantly kind of recognizable figures.
She must be one of the two or three most well-known people in all French history, I would have said.
Yes. And at the time, she is seen by enthusiasts for the revolution as the absolute embodiment of everything that prompted it.
At the time, she was seen as the embodiment. Embodiment is a person or a thing that represents all the qualities associated with something. So Marie Antoinette was seen as everything that caused this revolution. Maybe the reasons for why this revolution occurred, the embodiment. And that's how we use this word, the embodiment of.
You know, she is the kind of the incarnation of Ancien Régime.
She came to represent all those horrible qualities that were associated with the old regime, the Ancien Régime. This is a French word. Incarnation. It's kind of like a
arrogance, of aristocratic
manifestation.
splendor, and of a kind of
Arrogance and aristocratic splendor. Aristocracy refers to the highest class of society, the elite that usually have a lot of power. They're associated with wealth, with land ownership, aristocracy, aristocracy. And you can also use the word aristocrat to refer to that person.
quality of vampirism that has leached the French people of what should be rightfully theirs.
Yeah.
And
The qualities like a vampire that has leached, that has sucked the blood out of. But in this context, they're talking about violating their basic rights. So she has infringed on, she has trampled on the basic rights of the French people, just like a vampire. Vampirism, vampirism. Let's go back and hear this lovely phrase again.
regime, arrogance, of aristocratic splendor, and of a kind of quality of vampirism that has leached the French people of what should be rightfully theirs.
Yeah.
And in her lifetime, before and then particularly after the revolution, she is the object of absolutely kind of obsessive hatred. And it's also a kind of
So she was despised, she was hated intensely by the people.
prurient hatred. You know, because it is tied up with kind of fantasies about what she's been getting up to. And I guess that runs through to the present day, because the one phrase that everyone would associate with her, let them eat cake, is still repeated, isn't it? Despite the fact that she
Never.
So a lot of people still think that Marie Antoinette said, let them eat cake. But she actually never said that.
never said
I
it.
know. And the original phrase is qu'il mange de la brioche. So let them eat brioche has slightly different connotations, doesn't it? To
Yeah, because I always kind of imagine them, a big gâteau, kind of strawberries on the top or something.
But she never said it anyway, so there's no point in dissecting
No.
it, I guess, to some degree, other than the fact that people
There is no way to analyze this phrase because she never said that. There's no reason for us to dissect this, but it implies something. It says something indirectly about that fantasy.
think she said it is indicative of this idea of her and Louis, who's supposedly kind of who's her puppet, but them living this life of unbelievable depravity and licentiousness.
The French people believed that the king and the queen were living a life of depravity and licentiousness. A couple of advanced words there. Both talk about being immoral, depravity, and licentiousness. So licentious describes someone who is sexually immoral. They have no sense of right and wrong when it comes to sexual relations. And depravity is also about being unethical. You can use this word in a more general way. The adjectives are depraved and licentious. Anyways, if you want to check out the spelling of these words, they'll be in the description for you to look at. Now, I was wondering if you like this video lesson. If you do, don't forget to press the like button and also let me know if you'd like to see more of history-based video lessons. Catch you in the next one. Thanks.